8-0 all-time, the Mountaineers, and the mini dance party is on for the Fighting Mountaineers because the last 2 years, the Sun Belt Championship game has been these two teams. 2018, a cloudy afternoon in Boone, North Carolina in the mountains, and Zach Thomas, the starting quarterback tonight, had himself a day. Couple of rushing touchdowns and a 30-19 win in the farewell for Scott Satterfield off to Louisville. Under Eli Drinkwitz last year, Appalachian State clamped down on Levi Lewis and Louisiana, and so the Ragin' Cajuns want it so bad because it's a rivalry they've never had. Jason Benetti, Andre Ware, Taylor Davis is down in the mist and beyond. And Andre, this rivalry, you can feel it, can't you?
Yeah, you really can. And the two teams are mirror images of one another. Both average about 30 points a game. They've got dynamic running backs, about 3 deep on each side. They're balanced, averaging about 200 yards through the air, 200 yards on the ground, and defenses that will flat out get after one another. Now, saying all that, they don't like one another. What's going to be the difference tonight? Well, I think it's going to be in the turnover battle. Whoever turns the ball over the least amount of times will certainly have the advantage in this one. That's how it's played out over time between these two teams.
Two ball-hawking secondaries and a deluge in Boone, North Carolina. Over 3,000 feet in the air, Kid Brewer Stadium. Yeah, precipitation 100%. Our graphics department is all over it. They've played in nasty weather before. Louisiana's going to the Sun Belt title game. App State is not this year, but they both do not like each other. And Louisiana first will have it, and we hear from their best quarterback of all time, Jake Delhomme.
Good evening. I'm Jake Delhomme, University of Louisiana quarterback, class of 1996. Tonight's quarterback for the Ragin' Cajuns is senior Levi Lewis from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Levi and I are the only quarterbacks in Cajun history to throw for over 6,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Best of luck tonight, Levi, and go Cajuns!
Andre, how about that guy in the NFL? The Saints first, then the Panthers. Yeah. What a career it was, and he and Levi Lewis are in select company.
Tell you what, and he did some damage in his time at Louisiana. He mentioned it. Levi Lewis, both guys the only two in school history to throw for over 6,000 yards.
Lewis, first pass, incomplete. Shamar Jean-Charles was there. And there are the numbers for Jake Delhomme. How about the shoulder pads from the Cajun Snake there at 9,200 plus?
Yeah, we were laughing about this, but I wore them about that big. And I told you, back then, fewer shoulder injuries because guys were protected back then. Now they're wearing these Pop Warner pads, so to speak, and a bunch of injuries are happening at the quarterback position, especially in the shoulder area.
Second down for Louisiana, who has beaten Iowa State this year, and this rush play from Elijah Mitchell gets him a first down.
I tell you what, he is quite the back. Kind of their do-it-all type back, averaging just under 6 yards per carry, leads the team in rushing. He scored 40 career touchdowns. That's fourth among active running backs.
These two guys that you're going to see, Regis and Mitchell, have been there for a while, and they've played this App State rivalry a number of times as Louisiana runs some motion and goes again with Mitchell, who's chopped down by the safety, Caden Smith.
Yeah, they want to establish the line of scrimmage. You're going to see a lot of this by both teams. Rob Sale, the offensive coordinator for Louisiana, tried to go up top early to Peter LeBlanc. That's their deep threat, but now they've got App State backed off a little bit, allowing this running game to take over.
And Levi Lewis jostling for a gain to get him a first down again. So Louisiana, we talked about it. This team is very close to being undefeated. They lost to Coastal Carolina by a field goal, and game day will be in Conway for the Chanticleers tomorrow in advance of their game against BYU.
Well, they've got unfinished business, and first things first is App State, the team that's had their number the last 8 times that they've played. And then once they take care of business tonight, it's on to Coastal Carolina to close out things in the Sun Belt. But first things first, it's App who's up first.
Mitchell one more time, yanked down by Brendan Harrington. The sophomore ball came out, but he was down. and it's second down.
Before the ball came loose.
One of the big keys to the game for App State is to stop this dynamic duo, this running back tandem of Louisiana. So it's stop the run first and foremost. And then they want to get pressure on Levi Lewis, make him uncomfortable, kind of mush rush so that he doesn't take advantage in the run game when he pulls the ball down as he's looking downfield and nothing's there. So he can do damage and really help this offensive unit by making plays with his legs.
Trey Regis, another senior for Louisiana, breaking one tackle and running through Trey Cobb for a gain of about 9. It is a first down for Louisiana, a team that scored 20 points in 17 straight games.
Yeah, he's the bruiser type. You got the all-around back in Elijah Mitchell, but Regis is more of a bruiser. He's coming downhill right into the teeth of your defense, doesn't dodge contact, and you see the stats, just under 6 yards per carry himself. Both guys, Mitchell and Regis, 7 times in the end zone today by way of the ground.
On first down, Lewis, quick set, incomplete.
Not sure if that got tipped or not. It just slipped out of his hands. We talked about some weather problems, a lot of rain tonight. Looks like just the pass rush getting there. Demetrius Taylor, who is kind of their do-it-all type defensive lineman at defensive end, have gotten his hands on the football.
You said mush rush earlier. What do you mean by that?
Well, that means rushing under control, not leaving your rush lanes, not trying to fly up the field to get the quarterback off his launch point. You want to make sure you're under control as you make your way to the quarterback.
Trey Cobb, another stop for App State. And let's be clear for Louisiana here, this is a very good team, but they have changed things about what they do for this specific game against App State. They want this very badly tonight.
Yeah, they have worked all offseason. When you lose in a championship game and all of a sudden you get a chance to meet the team again, that basically took you out. Now you change some things. If you're winning, you're App State, you're going to basically defer to the game plan that you've always had. But when you lose, you seem to change things.
So that's a run on third down and 10. Interesting call. Do you think that means they go for it here?
I think so. That may be where you get about half of it back and maybe think about going for it here on fourth down. On the year, 41%. Just 7 of 17 as Louisiana in situations like this. I don't think it's enough to where you get to fourth and maybe medium, which is around 4 or 5 yards, where you consider it. Well, I think Billy Napier here going to punt it away and play defense.
It's Reese Burns, the junior from Melbourne, and a terrible snap. And this all the way back to the 11-yard line and knocked free. App State is on it. It's a touchdown. TD Roof to the house.
We just talked about taking care of the football and the team that turns it over the least amount of times. History kind of bearing out that that's who's won in this matchup, and right away a turnover, a scoop and score for App State, and their offense has yet to take the field.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team number 12. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Now, it looks like there was no discussion of that being after the touchdown, so it looks like that score is not going to count. Matt Austin, our rules expert, is here. Matt is nodding. Matt, what do you see here?
Well, I'm not sure where the foul took place, but you're exactly right. He did not say anything about there's a touchdown, and then we have a dead ball foul. So wherever the foul occurred, they're going to go back 15 from there, give the ball to Appalachian State.
I don't know if I see it. It looked like just a play on the punter by Brennan Harrington. I'm not sure if that's where the foul occurred, but you're going for the ball. You're trying to block a guy away from the ball. That's just a football play. I'm not sure I see it, and I would have questions as well if I'm Sean Clark in this situation, the head coach at App State.
Well, the officials are talking it over. Let's watch from our game camera in the center of the field. Matt, I know you're watching this for the first time. Let us know what you see, if anything.
Nothing on the hit there. They're just going for the football. There was no possession, so I don't see anything down by the kicker. I would assume it might be some players coming downfield, maybe getting after one another well behind the play.
So let me ask you this, Matt. If it's well behind the play, why would you ever throw the flag?
Well, because it could be a cheap shot. You know, we used to say, hey, play to the whistle, but that's a misnomer. You don't want somebody hitting somebody 15 or 20 yards behind the play and taking a cheap shot. If it's a regular block, that's one thing. But you can't lay a guy out. That's why they went with the blindside block rule this year. If the guy doesn't see it coming, you can't hit him. So,
well, I just don't see it. I just don't see it from the all-22 look that we had. And if it's the guy, if it's Harrington going into the punter, that's certainly not it. That could be any kind of tackle. That's the way you would want to tackle someone. And then it forces the ball obviously into the end zone and recovered there. But I am just not seeing it. And now not only is it going to cost App State a score, but from that spot, you back it up 15 yards. Now it's even more difficult to get into the end zone.
What could this lengthy discussion be, Matt? I know there are a lot of options here, but what do you think?
Well, the other thing to think about, if this foul occurred before the change of possession, then it would go back and it would be a foul. Then Louisiana would keep the ball because it would have to be a post-possession foul for it to be marked off and Appy State getting the ball. So, and Appalachian State didn't have the ball very long. So if this is a late hit, if this is a hit during the snap, then it would be like I said, a foul by the defense. You'd mark it off from. It would end up being the previous spot. But it looks like Matt, they are going to give the ball to Appalachian State.
Matt, what did you say to us before the game about officials and the amount of time they've spent away from football at points this year?
Well, we talked about COVID affecting the officials too. Now, I don't know the specific situation for this crew, but with fewer games this year, there's more off weeks. Officials are off. Then if you have a cancellation, you may be off 2 or 3 weeks, and that is not conducive to great officiating and staying focused. You need to work to stay sharp.
From
just like the players.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
That's a gain of 7 for Cameron Peoples. Zach Thomas, the senior quarterback, is out for App State, and we'll tell you all about him tonight. But there was nothing on the play, involved in the play, that could be construed as a personal foul. So an off-the-ball foul wipes away a punt block, essentially muffed snap for a touchdown, which seems very confusing, I would assume, to a lot of people watching the game. So Peoples on the ground has an App State first down across midfield.
And there, it occurred obviously way back by the line of scrimmage because App State starting this drive in negative yardage territory, which means they're on their side of the 50-yard line. And you talk about Peoples. Peoples is one heck of a player. Game is coming back from a knee injury, missed most of last year, was hurt in the first game. An ACL injury kept him out the remainder of the season, but boy, is he some player to watch on film.
They'll go again on the ground. I mean, Peoples follows a guy in Darrington Evans who was an outstanding back for Appalachian State the past bunch of years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the crazy part, we were talking about the backs in this game. No one averages under 5.5 yards per carry. That's the production that we have in front of us as we get into the night. But no back. We're talking about 6. 3 for Louisiana, 3 for App State. They all average over 5.5 yards per carry.
Now, Andre, with what we saw after that play, I started to get more and more sympathetic to what Matt was talking about with a foul away from the ball. If it's going to get that chippy that early in this game, and these teams don't like each other that much, if there was something that heinous away from the ball, which we didn't see, but if that was there, you can start to see, and we'll, as the game develops, if there's more and more of that, you can understand it more and more.
Right. They've got to keep the game, the officiating crew, they have to keep the game under control. And so they are basically saying that from very early in this ball game. Not going to let it get away from them.
Right now it looks like a miss. Our production crew's telling me that they have not seen anything off the ball that they have on camera. As this is a run for the quarterback, Thomas. He has a first down, and he gets belted out of bounds at the 36-yard line. And if there's no flag on that, and there's a flag on the touchdown earlier, App State fans are going to be real confused.
Greyhound coming up from his safety spot in run support and finishing things up, but I'm in agreement with you. You see him going out of bounds, and that's tough. That's tough.
You know, he wasn't out of bounds as yet. So as we look at it a second time, the thing you take away is this is going to be an interesting game emotionally for sure, as that's batted away on the sideline, and it's A.J. Washington to set up 2nd down and 10 for that young man who is 30-5 as a starter for App State, Zach Thomas. And the only guy with more FBS wins is Trevor Lawrence. The ball in his hand for the Clemson Tigers, who will be at Virginia Tech coming up tomorrow in one of their tougher games down the stretch. Even though they are a 3-touchdown favorite in that ball game, Clemson looking ahead to January 1st in the college football playoff semifinals. Sugar Bowl, and again post-play shenanigans going on. It'll be 3rd down, and Matt Austin, you're with us tonight. More and more, I start to see why, if there was something going on away from the ball, you're going to throw that flag early.
Hear from a coach is that you've lost control of the game. So the officials are going to make sure that there aren't any cheap shots out here, that they stay on top of things.
Always good to have our officiating expert, Matt Austin, along with us from his home.
Missed him a couple of weeks. Moved over to Saturdays. Now we're back and got our whole group back together. Good to have Matt along with us.
Thought we were a package deal, but he didn't come with. Nate Noel, the freshman, scores for App State.
Well, Noel is the back that brings the speed element to this App State rushing attack. Explosiveness when he comes into the game, and you're going to see it here. He gets a couple of excellent blocks up front. Brian Newsel, the left guard, throws one heck of a block, just walling off everybody, and that allowed Noel to get himself into the end zone. But excellent job up front. Cole Garrison, the left tackle, along with Newsel.
So App State gets the touchdown back 3 weeks before Christmas. First touchdown, Noel, 7-0 App State. Couple of days, it is V Week on ESPN. App State a 7-0 lead, and the touchdown for the freshman tailback out of Miami, Nate Noel. And so App State will kick it off to Louisiana, who set up to punt on its first possession. The snap was awful over the head of the punter, and now this kickoff goes to the 20-yard line and goes bounding to Elijah Mitchell, who does not get very much at all. Again, College Game Day in Conway, South Carolina, and the Chanticleers coming up tomorrow. 6 teams in the top 25 in the college football playoff rankings. Louisiana checks in at number 25. Cincinnati still rapping on the door at number 7. And Andre, BYU and Coastal Carolina, ESPNU tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern time. An opportunity to help themselves out.
Tell you what, I will be watching that one because we've had a chance to see both teams. We've had them both, and you talk about a talented group. BYU is carrying a talented group and a chip on their shoulder, and what a treat it is for them to pick up that game at this point in the season.
Louisiana will run here with Chris Smith. For more on that game, downstairs, Taylor Davis. Hi, Taylor.
Hey guys, I chatted with Dustin Fox, who's actually going to be the analyst on that game tomorrow, and just asked him what the energy is like around that Coastal Carolina program right now. He said they are soaking in every moment of this. The coaching staff encouraging the team to take in the College Game Day aspect and know that these seasons are rare. I asked him what their key piece is. He said, no-brainer. It's the quarterback, Grayson McCall. It's going to be a big game. This week has kind of been frantic in preparation, but they feel like they have the group to make a big stand tomorrow.
Taylor, thank you. And by the way, Andre, is there a better quarterback that people don't know about than Zach Wilson?
I don't think so. He can do it all. I mean, change arm angles, throw on the run, sit in the pocket and pick you apart if you play zone coverage. If you bring the heat, he can make plays with his legs. This will be a good, hard-fought football game and a good test for Coastal Carolina.
And for the Sun Belt, a great showcase opportunity.
Yes.
And you have two teams here in Louisiana and App State who are dynastic teams. They've been at the top of this conference for the last couple years, and they play for not a championship today, but a whole lot of pride. Third down for Levi Lewis. Loads of time. I mean, a ton of time. Lewis steps up. Downfield, got a man at the 50-yard line. It's Fleming for a first down. The freshman Dante Fleming.
You just got to love the patience of Levi Lewis and the ability to escape the rush even when it gets there after such a long period of time. Never took his eyes from down the field. Fleming, the true freshman, as you mentioned, he can really take the top off of defense, shows his patience in helping out his quarterback.
12th catch of his year for Fleming, and now the ball on the deck again. Lewis trying to buy some time, and he whips it out of bounds. The field conditions and the weather conditions are nasty, but Lewis had enough here.
Figure out how to keep the ball dry, but this is the previous play with Lewis, just finding just enough time to allow his receiver Fleming to get open.
The passer was outside of the tackle box.
That's a lot of experience. Yeah, that's a lot of experience showing through from Levi Lewis, because we know how dynamic he is running the football. He can pull it down and would have gotten some positive yards, but he was patient, knew he had man coverage on the back end, and allowed Fleming to come open.
What do you want from a receiver in a situation like that?
Well, just to move away, get away from the defender in some way, shape, or form, and then work your way back to me as a quarterback so that I have just enough room to get a throw up.
Lewis second down. This is a run for him. Levi Lewis skids out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So Louisiana's got a 3rd and 5, trying not to bog down in the same spot they did the first time.
Yeah, I even like the finish of that play. Just not taking the punishment, no need, because we weren't going to pick up much more. There wasn't a first down on the line to really put your body in harm's way and try to pick it up. So step out of bounds and then come back here on 3rd down, try to move the chains.
Third and 5, Mitchell driving the legs, and it's going to be 4th down and about a yard, it looks like. You going for it? You got to go for it.
Yeah, you got to go for it here if you're Billy Napier. You know that this App State offense, they're high-powered. Can't really go trot your field goal unit out because of the conditions, the snap, the hold. You're out of field goal range. He's good from about 52. We're talking about Alamanderas. So just a yard here to pick up. I would imagine you keep the ball in Levi Lewis's hands.
They go out of the shotgun when they need about a half yard, and they do get it with Elijah Mitchell. So Levi Lewis does give it to the running back, the senior.
Give it to the guy that's averaging near almost 6 yards a carry. So he's at almost 6 foot. So when he falls forward, he's going to have enough for the first down. But these two backs, that actually 3 with Chris Smith thrown in there, some dynamic playmaking ability out of the backfield.
Mitchell had a touchdown every 9 carries back in his high school days. Now in his senior season at Louisiana, as this goes down the sideline and it's incomplete for Kyron Lacey. And the defensive back, Jamar Jean Charles, was there. We told you about Cincinnati, number 7 in the college football playoff rankings, hoping to beat down the door of the semifinals. New Year's Day, be there. Rose Bowl game, 5 Eastern time. All-State Sugar Bowl, 8:45 Eastern. Those are the semifinal games this year leading to the college football playoff championship game. And you look at the top 4, Notre Dame, tough game this week, Andre, against Syracuse.
Yeah. Your
Thank
alma
you for
mater.
agreeing.
Your alma mater. I'm with you. I'm helping you pull for your alma mater.
Well, Matt Berry wasn't here pregame to give me guff, so I had to do it myself. Mitchell is driven back. Hey, Trey Cobbs had a really strong first quarter at the linebacker spot.
He's the second leading tackler on this App State defense. You're going to see the linebackers playing really close to the line of scrimmage, especially on the early downs, first and second down. They're going to creep in, maybe try to bring some pressure on Levi Lewis through the passing game, and they get you to third down, third and long. That's certainly an advantage for the defense.
14 runs, just 5 passes for Levi Lewis on a third down and 12 under 2 to go in the first quarter. App State brings 3. They got hurt by that earlier. This is over the middle, and it is incomplete. DeMarco Jackson, the linebacker, on the coverage. Fourth down and 12, Andre. You'd imagine punt time, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't hand it off, or maybe run some type of RPO that allowed Levi Lewis to either give it away underneath to Mitchell, keep it, or pull it and then throw it, where you have 3 options on one single play to pick up about half of it to get yourself before the meeting.
Oh my goodness, again! They may not punt ever in this game anymore. The second bad snap of the ball game. This one to the 21-yard line, and Reese Burns has only field burns to show for his night. Goodness gracious, top of the mountain indeed.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ram, built to serve, and in part by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich.
Senior night at Kid Brewer Stadium, and options for all the players to come back next year. This season not counting for eligibility. App State's got it short of the end zone, but off the turnover. What do you think they do here?
I think it's a shot play. You're either going to dial up Thomas Hennigan or Malik Williams. You know, you have a sudden change in a game like this, and you get excellent field position. Go ahead and throw this baby into the end zone.
It is Noel on a first down run, and he's tackled by Talon Humphrey, who the defensive coordinator, Patrick Toney, said we have got to have a big game from him tonight.
Yeah, Big Sauce in the middle. Got to have Big Sauce come through. The Houston Klein Oak High School by way of Hutchinson Community College, but he is a big guy, 6'5", 333, and eats up a lot of space inside.
Big Sauce is a whale of a nickname, by the way.
I love it. Love the nickname.
Zach Thomas, and it's dropped, incomplete. It'll be third down coming up.
And Mike Evans, he's back this week. Kind of their receiving tight end. He makes plays like that. I missed him in the passing game the last week or so.
Nothing in the way of completions on the senior night for Zach Thomas so far. He hasn't needed it, as they'll go with Noel, who has no crease, and it'll be fourth down for App State. So what do you do here, Andre?
Yeah, attempt a field goal and try to take the points, but got to take your hat off, tip your hat to this Louisiana defense for stepping up. They've been, basically backed up most of this game, and here they come up, stop App State for 3 consecutive downs, and going to force a field goal. This is certainly a small win for Louisiana.
Absolutely nasty weather, wet football all night long. Tough snap to hold there, and this is wide to the right. After the 2 Louisiana snaps, why try to kick the field goal here is the question. The whole mechanism was wrong, and Louisiana gets it back. Assistant coach for Saban, and this should be the final play of quarter number 1 in Boone.
Bill Parcells say you are what your record says you are. Those other schools, hey, you earned that record. Embrace it. But LSU has a monster they're staring at tomorrow in Alabama.
You never know. Death Valley, you never know.
Oh, I know that one. I know that one.
You know? We don't know about this game. App State's never lost to Louisiana. There's a lot of energy there tonight. January 1st, the Rose Bowl game, the All-State Sugar Bowl. You're watching ESPN College Football presented by Ram Trucks. There's a visual representation of what it's like spending 3 days in a row on Zoom with Bill Walton.
Spend a little more money on a better umbrella.
It's been a rough go out there in the climate in Boone. A lot of rain, a lot of waterfalls, and Louisiana runs it on first down with Trey Regis, the senior, who sets up third down. A couple of really bad snaps by Louisiana so far, so this third down is even more important because a punt could be a disaster.
Yeah, I think you stay on the ground here with Regis if he's in the game, or Mitchell if he checks himself into the game, but you'll allow this offensive line to kind of get itself entrenched along with the running backs to get themselves a rhythm here.
So multiple tight ends. Johnny Lumpkin, Pierce Meagle have checked in the game. That's Lumpkin in motion. And it's a third down for Lewis on the roll, and he will boot for a first down and then some. Levi Lewis carving into App territory on a first down run for Louisiana, gain of 27.
Or better yet, leave it in Lewis's hands. You're going to get him outside on the edges of the defense where the App's got everybody covered, but except Levi Lewis, who just continues to roll, turns it up the field, and is able to pick up the first down.
Passing's been tough, but on the ground, this young man who won 4x200 and 4x400 state titles in high school has a first down there, and they'll go on the ground for Trey Regis, who's out of New Orleans. Trey Regis, an interesting story, Andre. He was going to play at St. Augustine, but Leonard Fournette was there. And the coach said, we want to move you to linebacker. And Trey Regis said, nope, I'm a bet on myself as a running back. Instead, he decided to transfer to Archbishop Shaw, where he became the all-time leading rusher for that school.
He is some player and has rushed for over 3,000 yards in his career at Louisiana, both he and Elijah Mitchell.
Lewis looks back across the way and throws it back that way, and it is incomplete. Errol Rogers Jr. was wide open, and Lewis left it short.
And they're depending on a very inexperienced receiving corps. Errol Rogers, as you mentioned there. You got Fleming, who caught a pass earlier, and then Lacey, who was an intended receiver in the passing game in the first quarter as well. All those guys, along with LeBlanc, who's just a sophomore, very young, inexperienced group of receivers on the other end of Levi Lewis's passing.
3rd and 9, ball on the ground again. One more time, and it's recovered by Mitchell, the right tackle for Louisiana.
They're just ball handling in this game, and you know it's wet, but just a mix-up between Regis and Lewis. Ball's on the ground again for Louisiana. Fortunately they're able to come up with it, but this has been the tough part. Paul Boudreaux, the long snapper, getting the ball into the punter's hands, into Burns' hands, has not been on par here early in the ball game.
Tension builds for Boudreaux, who's been so consistent this year. This one's not a great snap, but it got there at least. And Burns chips one back to the 18-yard line. Malik Williams returnable on the low line drive kick, and he's out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Well, Andre, you don't want a roller coaster ride from your snapper, and this is a white knuckle deal right now for Louisiana.
Tough.
I got to tell you, New Year's Day is going to be a big celebration. Number one, it's a college football playoff. It's the Rose Bowl game, the All-State Sugar Bowl, but it's also the end of 2020, and never will a year be less fun and less interesting and less sad to see it go. As Williams has the run on first down, Marcus Williams, the senior. I can't believe we're less than a month away from the college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah, you're right, and the suspense is just starting to build on who the 4 teams are going to be, where who's going to get to ultimately the final. We've still got a long way to go.
Who's the team that's not in the top 4 right now that you think should be in the top 4?
Oh boy, I think a lot of people are underselling Texas A&M and how good they are. Cincinnati's another team that's right on the outside, a senior-laden team that is deep at all positions, and I think they're being undersold just because they're a Group of 5 team, but can play certainly with anybody.
Well, option play, and Thomas spins it out wide for not much to Noel. Look, to be clear, Louisiana's 8-1. Their only loss to Coastal Carolina. They beat Iowa State pretty handily in the opener.
Yeah.
31-14, and Cyclones are 9 right now.
They put it on them. That's why, you almost have to open it up a little bit more, because on a given Saturday or any given game, a team can be had. And we see it during bowl season each and every year.
Another run for App State, their 13th of the ball game. Peoples a first down. This is from week 1, and yeah, things were crazy week 1, September 12th. But Louisiana and Levi Lewis were awesome. They put up 31 on a Cyclones team that looks poised to be a Big 12 champion or thereabouts this year.
Yeah, it happened in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and certainly special teams, where Louisiana pulled away 31-14 over now number 9 ranked Iowa State.
Another run for App State. Ball came out. This is a live football, and it's picked up by Zion Hill for Louisiana. Another wet football situation and a football on the carpet.
Rolling on the field is a fumble.
Yeah, they just doesn't fumble a whole lot. Let's see if the ball's definitely out and recovered by Louisiana. There's no doubt it's a fumble. Cameron Peoples puts it on the ground.
Barad Gardner stripped it. Matt Austin, we love talking to you on our telecast, but I don't think there's a whole lot to add here, is there?
No, it's definitely a fumble, and I think it's a clear recovery. Picks it up with control, 1 foot down, 2 foot down. Yeah, that's a turnover.
Zion Hill, the defender that recovers the fumble. This is excellent field position for Louisiana to get themselves right back in this ball game.
It's a good point by Matt, by the way, Andre. You have to have that clear recovery on the back end as well to have possession. And so Louisiana goes with the Legion of Doom look for the turnover. Reminiscing for Hawk and Animal over on the sideline. They have been road warriors this year. They are undefeated on the road so far this season from Lafayette.
I said it earlier when App State had the fumble on the second punt. But here's when you maybe dial up Peter LeBlanc, your deep threat, if you're Levi Lewis or the offensive coordinator Rob Sale. They're expecting run on first. Yeah, expecting run on first down. Let's throw this baby down the field with his field position.
Here we go. They will check it down. It is Mitchell, and he's got some yardage in front of him. First down for Elijah Mitchell, who goes head over heels with Harrington along with Jackson.
And deep zone drops. You see the zone drops by the linebackers. They're going to take everything away, not allow a guy like LeBlanc to get behind the secondary. So as a quarterback, best thing to do, check it down and let Mitchell run.
The leading tackler you just saw, DeMarco Jackson, whose cousin Maurice Morris played for a long while in the NFL for Seahawks and Lions. Lewis just shoveled it away. He's got Mitchell. Is this me or the arm angle's getting weirder on Friday nights as we do more and more games?
Oh, you get it out there the best way you can. And he got a heck of a block by his left tackle, which opened up that kind of flip area before he got to Trey Cobb, the linebacker. And they want to get it there in a hurry. Many ways to do it, but not everybody can. Certainly Levi Lewis did on that down.
We promise you, you're going to see some arm angles from Zach Wilson tomorrow, BYU at Coastal Carolina.
Yes.
He has worked at that extensively, hasn't he? Lewis escapes one. He's got a first down. That was Trey Cobb who had him in the grasp, but couldn't bring him in. First down, Louisiana.
Yeah, right now, if you're Levi Lewis, you're just thinking first downs. And then at the end of this drive, find the end zone. But any way you can, take care of the football. Take any punishment, step out of bounds, and come back here on first down.
What do you think of his footwork so far?
I love it. I love that he takes care of his body as well, not taking unnecessary hits along the sideline, trying to turn it up. He will put his body on the line when need be, when there's a first down in play, but after you've gotten it, go ahead and protect yourself.
Lewis straight up the gut. Lewis on the run. Levi Lewis hogtied inside the 10, first and goal.
And there's the difference. Where you're smelling the end zone, you're willing to take a hit to try to get yourself through a crease to get to the end zone. Otherwise, you slide and get down. But he's sniffing the end zone here. So, yeah, you're going to get hit. But that's just competing at the highest level. And the other one along the sideline just being a smart quarterback.
Tell you what, we heard from Jake Delhomme in the first quarter. He was the same way. He was not afraid of taking a hit at all. Regis, the tailback, and Trey Regis gets a couple of yards. Cobb again on the stop. Second and goal.
Carlos Rubio is over there at left tackle and just kind of mauling people. He's just kind of seeing him work. They go that unbalanced line where they take the right tackle, put him over on the left side, and there's only the guard and the tight end on the backside. So you know they're running that way. And on film, they show it, and they don't defer away from it. They go right at it. They're a little more balanced to the offense.
Regis in the flat. Touchdown, Raging Cajuns.
What a play fake by Levi Lewis. Sold everybody in the building that he was going to throw the quick screen out to his right. Spun around, and he's got Regis just kind of leaking out of the backfield underneath. Boy, that is excellent work by Levi Lewis.
What do you like most about that?
I just like the action that kind of creates the defensive flow. You're thinking, hey, we got to get out there in a hurry. And then, you obviously have to have an athletic quarterback to spin around and be able to throw that baby on the move, and a nice strike to his running back.
Now a rollout, and this is going to go nowhere. So yet again, special teams is a tornado for Louisiana.
It has been a long night for Paul Boudreau, the deep snapper for Louisiana. Another snap that's a little bit high. Been kind of high all night. 7-6 App State.
This year, and it has been a rough night.
Yeah, it's been tough on him. High snaps over the punter's head, almost there when they finally got one away. It cost him on an extra point. Lucky to be just down by 1 point in this ball game.
And the deal is, it is a wet ball. It is a rough night. And again, to be clear, no long snapper ever wants to have their name mentioned as much as we've mentioned Boudreaux's name tonight. But again, Billy Napier called him out specifically. How often do we hear about long snappers in a coach's meeting? He called him out specifically to talk about how good of a season he's had, and it's just not been the case so far tonight as we go downstairs to the sideline at Taylor.
Well, guys, like you've mentioned, the weather conditions certainly playing an impact here tonight. As you mentioned, the weather really playing a pivotal role here tonight. The rain has eased up now, but we dealt with a very steady downpour for several hours. I've been watching on both sidelines to see how they're handling equipment. App State is actually putting the footballs in front of their space heaters, trying to keep them dry. Louisiana is trying to keep the balls in duffel bags. They're having guys do different ball security drills here on the sideline, knowing it's making an impact on the field.
Taylor, thank you. Zach Thomas, a low throw. So as a quarterback, what do? What's your part in that?
Well, you're trying to keep your hands as dry as possible. I would have a towel, obviously. I'd make sure the center has a towel to keep his hands dry. You're talking to the ball boys, hey, do whatever you got to do. The duffel bag, you keep shoving balls in there that are wet. Obviously, the inside of the bag's going to get wet, so you might need to change that thing out. A lot of communication. Yeah, a lot of communication going on in regards to keeping the balls dry.
Well, Zach Thomas has a whole tool belt around his waist. There's a towel there. Looks like there's a play card as well around the waist of the quarterback for App State too.
There's a lot of experience right there. He's probably played in a few of these, especially when it gets cold and rainy. Got the hand warmer there. Probably got a couple of those deals you shake up and keep your hands nice and warm.
Another run. We spent a lot of time with Zach Thomas, and he's a young man who has played better in his career. He was very open with us. He's extremely hard on himself. You can tell when you talk to him. Coaches mentioned that as well. But 30-5 as an extremely successful starter for App State.
Yeah, I tell you what, he responded to that Coastal loss with one heck of a game, going 22 of 29 with 4 touchdown passes for 279 in last week's game.
Taylor, what you got on the sideline?
Yeah, guys, definitely impactful for this App State offense. Running back Cameron Peoples has actually left the field. I saw him walk away with several staff members. He clearly looked uncomfortable. I don't have an update on his injury yet, but he is not out here at the moment.
Taylor, thank you. Cameron Peoples in the opener last year ended up with a season-ending knee injury. They do have multiple backs in Noel and the senior Marcus Williams, but Peoples is explosive.
Yeah, he is the guy that when you turn the film on, you start gushing about his athletic ability and maybe, talent that could take him to the next level. He's that kind of back with that kind of explosiveness and home run hitting speed once he gets a crease through the line of scrimmage. So I'm hoping that he's okay and gets himself maybe back tonight. If not tonight, certainly soon. This is the last time he carried the football, and he fumbles it. Took a shot right to his helmet. Doesn't look like much else. And then, of course, at the end of that, you got Zion Hill finishing things off. So hopefully, Peoples will be okay.
Oh, a diving play to pick it off for Chauncey Manak. Wow, acrobatic. Thomas tried to put some air under it, and Manak went real high to rip it off to the stratosphere.
On the Ally halftime report, the return of the Buckeyes, what to make of Ohio State, plus number 5 and 6. A&M in Florida has some tricky road tests on Saturday. Plus, Jesse and Joey are back with their virtual locks. And Jace Benetti, I feel like you and I have worked a lot together this week. Our spirits are growing. We feel like we're men of the people. What does that sound like, Benetti?
Hey, thank you for my life, Matt Berry. One time, throw it down.
Even I knew who they were talking about.
I love my bike. The mountains of North Carolina. I'm sorry, I was around it for 3 days in a row. Louisiana in a 7-6 score. And good news for App State here. Cameron Peoples back on the sideline. Taylor reported that he was off the field. He has just in the break come back on the field and gone to his helmet. So that is a very good sign for a talented young man out of the state of Alabama.
Yeah, good to see him back along the sideline. And certainly, as you mentioned, carrying that helmet. Just a matter of time before we see Cameron Peoples back in the game.
Tried to get Walton to do this game with us, but he was unavailable for comment. First down for Louisiana, which has never beaten Appalachian State. 8 tries at it. Back-to-back Sun Belt championship games, and App State's had their number every time, but Louisiana has had a fine season, and Levi Lewis loads it up to go downfield a little bit too much, and it's incomplete.
There's the shot play after a turnover. Sudden change. He's trying to find the true freshman, Dante Fleming. He has a step on a defender, just a little bit overthrown.
As a quarterback, you just want to call the same play again, don't you?
Absolutely. Just put a little more air under it where the receiver can adjust to the football.
Lewis, quick set. This is incomplete off the hands of Gossett.
Well, they usually love Gossett down around the red zone. At 6'6", he is a hard matchup down inside the red zone there. He's going to make a play. Well, not thrown out in front, a little bit behind you, but it's on your body and you get your hands on it. That's usually, that's supposed to be a catch in my book.
Punts have been treacherous so far for Louisiana, so a big third down here late second quarter. And the senior Levi Lewis climbing the pocket, giving back some ground. Levi Lewis bracketed, spins out of it, still escaping, kept his feet in to throw it out of bounds, and it's incomplete.
Like Houdini making guys miss. Kind of there, and then all of a sudden he disappears. Caleb Sperlin had a couple of shots, or thought he was going to have a couple of shots, and didn't lay a hand on Levi Lewis.
2 rough snaps tonight over the punter's head. Reese Burns hoping for a chance. Boudreaux trying to right the ship, and that was an outstanding snap comparatively. And Burns gets it away on a hop. Malik Williams, the explosive returner for App State, down the sideline into plus territory with under 3 to go in the first half. Well, they get one off, and then Williams makes him pay. It's a net of 2. Meaning to the phrase Santa hat. In Boone, North Carolina. We got to get you one of those. One for the whole family, Andre.
Battery operated.
I'd have a USB charger. App State after the punt return from Malik Williams. You saw the college football playoff top 25 release coming out Tuesday once again. Louisiana ranked for the first time in program history in the college football playoff top 25, as McCaskill is going to have to come off with his helmet leaving his head for that play.
Very productive, old school type linebacker, plays sideline to sideline, and he's their communicator. He's the guy that gets everybody lined up, signals the defense.
It's the senior Marcus Williams, and it's third down. We were talking to Tony Peterson, the offensive coordinator, about his stable of running backs, and he compared what he does with these 3 guys to getting Lawrence Baroni and Marion Barber touches when he was at Minnesota back in the 2000s. He says it's easy with 2, 3's a little tougher.
A little tougher to get Nate Noel involved with in the running game, but he's got 3 really talented players, and Peebles kind of does everything. Williams is the more physical type runner, and then obviously Noel brings a speed element to this App State running game.
So Williams sets up a 4th down and 1, and you'd imagine with all those 100-yard rushers, they need 1 here. They're going to go for it, you'd think, right?
Yeah, Noel's checking himself back into the game. They've only thrown 4 passes on the evening. 1 for 4, Zach Thomas for just 7 yards and an interception. So I would imagine, with the conditions, a little cold, a little rain, go ahead and keep the ball on the ground here.
Now Thomas up to the line. They will pitch it wide. Creative play call, and Noel's got a 1st down. That is nifty from Tony Peterson, the offensive coordinator.
And you get everybody thinking when you have this action that it's going between the tackles. So you see the defense pinch inside, and they're able to out-leverage it. Now they're chasing from inside out.
1 minute 6 seconds.
Safety Percy Butler going to pinch inside. He's thinking as soon as Zach Thomas goes under center, they're going to just run a dive of some sort or wedge the quarterback. And then he just basically takes himself out of position. It's an excellent play call.
1st down App State and a timeout App State. Sunday NFL Countdown. Russell Wilson and Sue Bird 1-on-1. And then You Got Mossed as well. Louisiana Lafayette was on You Got Mossed. Louisiana was earlier this year. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then Josh Allen and the Bills against the 49ers. Still hanging around in the AFC playoff hunt. Best Bills in a long while. Josh Allen's been marvelous this year. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. ABC as well this week. ESPN Deportes and the ESPN app. Coverage starts Monday Night Countdown at 6.
It was Mekhi Garner who mossed a receiver. So it was intended for a receiver, but the defensive back, Mekhi Garner, they went up and mossed a receiver for an interception.
If you're really good, we may show it to you later, audience. Thomas on the roll. Thomas to throwback. Nobody home. Hey, you know what? You've been such a good audience. Let's show it to you. You got mossed. You mentioned it. Mekhi Garner earlier this year.
Yeah, big corner at 6'2", 212. He goes over the top of the intended receiver and takes it away for an interception. That's sweet. Want to get it at its highest point.
I want to know what getting weird would be.
That would be some deep pass, that's for sure. We're going deep, baby.
I love that. None of these checkdowns for you.
Nah, no.
Thomas across his body and a sliding grab at the 23-yard line for Jalen Virgil. 2 timeouts. App State don't really have to hurry.
Welcome into the Ally halftime report.
His 2nd completion of the ball game.
Oh, Noel driven back. Now let's see if Thomas lays a block down here. He got a piece. Noel cutting back and leaves it 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage. So Percy Butler the stop, and we'll see how App plays this, or if Louisiana calls timeout.
Timeout. Appalachian State, their
Now,
second.
App called timeout here. If you're going to go for it, maybe, but if you're going to kick the field goal, you're just leaving time for Louisiana,
Please reset
Andre.
the game clock to
Agreed.
30 seconds on the game clock, please.
Maybe Sean Clark is thinking about
30 seconds
rolling
on
the
game
dice
clock,
here, trying to
please.
pick up
Thank
the
you.
first down. Well, 2 seconds back on the play, but what it did was all this running around was just taking time off the clock. I like that block by Thomas. I'm going to throw a knockout block, just shield a guy and make sure he doesn't make the tackle.
You just get involved. Be a better door than a window, right?
A field goal would be about 43, 44 yards. And he's comfortable with Chandler State at about 45 yards.
But the question is, how good will the snap be?
Well, it hadn't been a problem for App State so far.
Call it 43 on the field goal, and I believe Louisiana's going to call a timeout.
Louisiana's
Nice him
up
a little
first.
bit.
It'll be 30 seconds.
Hey, tomorrow, noon Eastern time on ABC and the ESPN app, Justin Fields and Ohio State go to East Lansing. Michigan State had the upset against Northwestern. And the Buckeyes are trying to play in the Big Ten championship for the 4th straight time. They need 2 more wins to do it. A lot of discussion this week about the Big Ten's rules or how you get into the Big Ten championship game. And obviously, Ohio State, the best chance for the Big Ten to get a college football playoff team. So Ohio State winning that game would be huge for the Buckeyes, but Michigan State's been pretty tough this year.
Yeah. Dayton's hit from 45 against Coastal Carolina. They'd won from 42 last week against Troy. Obviously, the conditions a little bit different here tonight. Give him a shot.
Clayton Howell will hold. Christian Johnstone to snap. And this kick is sent to the goalpost and through. The point leader in Sun Belt history, Chandler State, on that field goal to give App State a 4-point lead.
Snap was about perfect. And just drills it right down the center of the goalpost. No doubt about it.
The Chandler Staten, senior out of the state of Georgia, makes good from 43, and App State, the Mountaineers, and that is a lively beard, by the way, from Chandler State, and that's some good stuff.
A little growth to it, a little age on it.
How long did it take you to have a beard like that?
Oh, it would take me a while, long time. Long.
Why don't you try it before the season's over, before we get to bowl season?
I promise you wouldn't like it.
Get you a Heisman beard.
Might take me that long to grow it.
Louisiana will have 2 timeouts. And this is a short kick taken at the 25. And Regis is out of bounds right around the 40. So now 23 seconds, 2 timeouts. Why not, Andre, take a couple of shots?
Well, you got an experienced quarterback, and you're having the discussion and telling him right now, hey, take care of the ball. Don't go late over the middle. You got a couple of timeouts, so you can essentially work everywhere on the field. Be smart with the ball.
Offside. Defense, number 0. That 5-yard penalty we enforce from the end of the kick. First down. Correction, end of the play. First down.
So we got an offside penalty on the kickoff. The referee said on the defense, so we'll see who that went against. Normally you hear kicking team or receiving team. It's going to go against App State. And so Louisiana gets an extra 5 yards. And so App State allowed this to happen. They called a timeout in order to stop the clock before their own field goal. And now Louisiana will set up shop at the 45-yard line.
Excellent field position to try to go down and at least get yourself a field goal attempt.
Levi Lewis chucks it, got a first down inside the 35-yard line, and it is Jalen Williams, the senior.
A walk-on that was awarded a scholarship in the spring of 2018. He's got great size at 6'3", 218.
23 seconds. 23 seconds.
Really kind of depending on him for his experience in that situation. Knowing what's required, catch the ball, get yourself out of bounds, saving the timeout here.
Clock operator tried to end the half, and the officials caught it, so they're back to 23 now.
A little home cooking.
A lot of home cooking over at Kid Brewer tonight. Lovely Boone, North Carolina, as Billy Napier, the Nick Saban disciple, wants himself a score before halftime. Levi Lewis, his senior quarterback, to throw again. On the dive to the sideline, it is caught by Williams. He was down in bounds, so they're going to have to burn a timeout. Now, the official was waving for the clock to move. It is not moving. Now it is. instead of calling a timeout, they let 4 or 5 seconds run off the clock. Now the clock's still moving for no apparent reason, and somebody's got to tell the clock operator how this thing works.
13 seconds. 13 seconds.
That happens to me in AAU basketball, and it chaps me beyond belief. He had a guy keeping the clock, and he just won't stop it when a foul occurs. That's what's going on. So if you're App State, you want that baby to run. You're okay with it, but you're Billy Napier. It's driving you crazy right about now. And I don't know why he didn't just take the timeout instead of, even allowing the clock operator to start the clock. Just take it, and you're at about 17 seconds. That's enough time to at least get another play run.
Now, the other thing, if that's a first down, the clock should stop for the sticks to move. But again, call the timeout, you have no issue. So now they're going to run it with 13 seconds, and they're going to use a timeout here as they're inside the 10. Or, now they're down to 7 seconds.
Louisiana,
you have one timeout left. There's no reason not to have used the one on the previous play.
Well, you use the one on the previous play, you're looking at about 11 seconds. That's 2 plays. So now essentially you've got about 1 play, maybe 2 with 9 seconds if it's a quick shot to the end zone. So that's a first down. The clock should have stopped at about 18 seconds. It rolled to 17, and you take the timeout in that situation.
Yeah, the official made the signal to wind the clock, then changed the motion. Matt, what are you seeing here?
Well, no, that was the proper procedure, because when the play ends inbounds, the covering official winds his arm to let everybody know that the player is inbounds. Then he stops the clock to let everybody know it's a first down. So that was exactly the proper mechanic. Then the referee sees that. Then when he gets the ball set, they don't wait for the chains anymore. When the ball is set and the officials are set, then they will go ahead and wind the clock back up and get the game going. And as far as the clock operator goes, normally in the Sun Belt, and I'm not sure what's happening today, but normally it is the alternate official who runs the clock from the press box. So there should not be any home cooking. This is an official that's running the clock.
Yeah,
Thank you, Matt.
After that
Appreciate
explanation, that's even more of a reason that Louisiana should have taken the timeout. Knowing that he's down in bounds, go ahead and take the timeout. You save yourself 4 seconds.
3rd down and 2. Levi Lewis looking in the end zone, and he throws it out of the back of the end zone. So now you kick the field goal. Do you trust the snap? Do you go for it?
You try the field goal and you hold your breath. If you're Billy Napier, that the dynamics all work out, the snap and the hold, and at least get to the point where you're kicking the football.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The passer was outside the pocket when the ball was thrown.
Matt Austin nodding, passer outside the pocket, so no intentional grounding. And we'll see how the mechanism is here. And a timeout called by App State.
A smart one. Freeze the kicker.
Appalachian
does you no
State,
good taking it to the locker room. So
it'll be 30 seconds.
A wise timeout by Sean Clark.
Take a look at the snap here after the timeout. Doctor.
Wow. It is between the ears of Paul Boudreau right now, the long snapper for Louisiana. You got guys trying to rally around him and talk to him, get him settled in, but everything's going a bit high for him.
The hold will be from Dalen Cambry. Almendarez to kick out of the snap from Boudreau. High snap, got it down. Kick is good. Louisiana ends a shaky first half of special teams with a make. Each team with a field goal late. App State gave Louisiana some extra time. 10-9 your score at the half from Boone. We send it to Matt Berry for the Ally Halftime Report.
Welcome into the Ally Halftime Report for the first.
You're watching ESPN College Football presented by Ram Trucks. It's been a zany first half on the mountain in Boone, North Carolina. App State with a 10-9 lead over Louisiana. The rain has started once again at Kidd Brewer Stadium as Louisiana has never beaten App State in 8 tries. Andre, as we go Northwestern Mutual from plan to play, the special team's been a struggle for Louisiana in that first half.
Yeah, it really has, and you wonder just how they've been able to just make this a one-point game. High snap on the initial punt gave App State some field position, and they were able to capitalize and score. Then a second one, it's not a replay, this is the second high snap. Then on an extra point, it's been the difference in the game. It's why they're down 10-9 as opposed to this being a tied-up ball game. But a little pep talk, and all of a sudden, Paul Boudreaux comes in. He delivers right before the half on a field goal attempt to make it 10-9.
And out of halftime, Taylor Davis caught up with his head coach, Billy Napier.
Well, Coach, we did see a few issues in terms of bad snaps, ball security. What did you see in regards to those difficulties?
Well, we haven't got very good play from our specialists. You know, I think the big thing here is we played our way through the weather. I think we're settling in. We're throwing and catching the ball better. Got better execution, certainly really good momentum there with 2 minutes before the half. Good for all of them to make that field goal.
You knew you would have to slow down the rush attack from this App State offense. Your defense has come up with some big stops. How do they continue to contain them in the second half?
Well, I think you're spot on. We got 2 turnovers, able to win a 4-point play there, force them to a field goal down there in the last possession. So we got to settle in and make adjustments, much like we've done the entire season.
Coach, Louisiana has yet to beat App State. How do you change that in the next 2 quarters?
Well, we got 30 minutes. Let's go do what we do, and that's come back in the second half.
We look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Coach.
Billy Napier, who's been through Clemson and Alabama. He's got Louisiana and Ragin' Cajuns on his jacket tonight in the rain in Boone, North Carolina, and this rivalry continues to spark in the Sun Belt. We've seen huge games in this league. Coastal Carolina will play in another one tomorrow against BYU. But right now, for Louisiana, who's going to the Sun Belt Championship game, they've got App on their minds.
Yeah, they do. And this is a hurdle they certainly want to get over. It's kind of unfinished business, and prove to themselves that they can take down the Mountaineers.
This return chopped down. Stephen Jones cut down, and Taylor downstairs, who chatted with Sean Clark as well.
Yeah, guys, I spoke with Coach Clark following halftime. He said you could see the entire first half. The weather is certainly making an impact on this one. In halftime, he certainly stressed ball security as expected. He said offensively, he's really happy with the way the run game is finding success, averaging around 5 yards per carry. He encouraged his quarterback, Zach Thomas, to rely on that pass game, get comfortable in the pocket, and really hit those receivers downfield.
Noel on a first down run, the freshman who had the lone touchdown for App State in the first half.
They go about it 3 different ways. Peoples, Williams, and Noel, as you just mentioned, brings that speed element, has really stepped up this year as a true freshman. An outstanding career at Northwestern High School in Miami. They are just known for winning state titles, 3 consecutive state titles that he won when he was there.
Another run and another stop for Talon Humphrey, the senior. It'll be 3rd down for App State, and a whole lot of running games so far in the first half.
It really has about 132 yards on 24 carries for App State. That's about a 5.5-yard clip kind of right where their season averages. So they're right on par with what they want to do, how they want to go about executing their game plan.
31 plays for App State. 25 have been runs so far. Noel again has the first down. McCaskill tried to yank him back. And App State will move the chains. We mentioned Sean Clark, who Taylor talked to at halftime. It's his first season as the head coach at App State. And a couple years ago when Scott Satterfield left, the players were very vocal about wanting Sean Clark to be that new head coach. App State went with Eli Drinkwitz, who spent a year there, went to Missouri after. But the way the players talk about Sean Clark, the first thing you hear about him is how much he cares about this program and lives this program and wants to stay there for a long time.
Yeah, I would imagine he's going to be the head coach there for a very, very long time.
Thomas can't wriggle away. Chauncey Manak, who had the first half interception, got in there first.
Their first sack of the ball game, and they're able to get tremendous penetration. Manak was not fooled. Nice little spin move working on Henry Pearson, the tight end, and is making his way to Zach Thomas. Is excellent in terms of changing field position for Louisiana. How you hold up for 2 downs and force a punt.
On the ground, Peoples back in the ball game after he left the field for a while in the first half. 3rd down and forever for Zach Thomas, who is 30-5 as the starter at Appalachian State.
What it does as well, that sack, is it basically takes App State off schedule. They've been able to run and control this football game. You talked about the amount of passes. Only 6 passes thrown by Zach Thomas tonight. And so what it does is it forces him to put the ball in the air here on 3rd down. Now, it's such a long situation. You see the rain, maybe a draw play here or some kind of screen pass.
Thomas wants more than that. Down the sideline, it is intercepted. Mekhi Garner goes high to rip it off. Well, we saw him on You Got Mossed earlier, and he high points another one.
This is the 15th interception of the year. Just throws into coverage. It's zone coverage. He just hangs one up, and the large Mekhi Garner at 6'2", 212 coming up with another interception. That's his 3rd on the season.
He's playing in the rain. He's a marine biology major, so it's perfect for him. And that's a lot of picks for that secondary for Louisiana. And now, in a 10-9 score, they will run it with Mitchell. Now, there was some discussion at halftime, our crew and on social media, about the last drive for Louisiana. It looked like there was a clock malfunction on one of Louisiana's plays that allowed for them to have a couple extra seconds. They did have a few timeouts in their bag as well. So even with the clock running as it should have, we imagine they would have had a chance at a field goal in a similar situation. And so we'll see in this close game what this thing comes down to. A wild night in Boone, North Carolina so far. Levi Lewis scrambling, dodging. Taylor's got him in the crosshairs, and Lewis throws it out of bounds and incomplete.
To make sure that it looked like a design quarterback draw or a quarterback run. And so if there's linemen releasing down the field, I don't think anybody left. But it was developing so long that you just kind of cross your fingers and hope, if you're Billy Napier, that you didn't get a lineman down the field. And that's exactly what Sean Clark is asking. You know, where's the ineligible receiver down the field?
On the ground, Mitchell. And he's going to set up a 4th down and 3 now. Andre, what's your pleasure?
I'd leave him on the field. You've got field position across, obviously, the 50-yard line. You've had problems with deep snaps all night long. This is a situation where you put Levi Lewis on the corner, on the edges. Maybe an RPO here.
Give the option to run or pass. Lewis on the roll. Dodges one. Lewis sees the first down and got it.
Nice job, just showing you the athletic ability, able to outrun the defenders to the first down mark. Give up leverage, and to an athletic quarterback, that is a big no-no.
Well, look, Levi Lewis has a strong feel for what App State is going to do against him. He's spent a couple of years now playing against this team. A couple of Sun Belt championship games in a row between Louisiana and App State. Short drop for Lewis. He spins it out to the edge and incomplete. Shamar Jean Charles had the coverage, the very confident senior out of the state of Florida.
Trying to go to one of his leading receivers in terms of receptions, Lacey. He and LeBlanc came into tonight's game both with 23 receptions on the year. This is a catch that Lacey usually makes. Really developed throughout his true freshman season.
Mitchell, the senior, got a crease and got a first down for Louisiana. Caden Smith at the third level had to tear him down.
Caden Smith, there's nobody left if he doesn't make this tackle. Nice job by Mitchell of navigating through some traffic, but Caden Smith on a wet night with a touchdown-saving tackle.
Was blocked by Meagle as well, as this goes to Lacey, the freshman who you just talked about, who was a tremendous basketball player in high school, about 20 and 12 per game.
Championship. Got, as you mentioned, excellent size and good hands. Into that, the Football Writers Freshman All-American list this season.
Regis is knocked down. Harrington got there first, and it's third down for Louisiana.
It's just a heck of a play by Regis to no false movement, that north and south running style, because Harrington timed it just right coming off the edge and almost got into the backfield and disrupted the handoff from Lewis to Regis. Another situation where I'd keep the ball in Levi Lewis's hands here.
It's Regis. Touchdown.
What an excellent job by the offensive line. Kind of opening some things up front. They lean on it. I'm thinking quarterback with experience out on the edge. They go inside between the center and the guard, Torrance, who throws a heck of a block up front.
We're going to go for two here and try and get it early. We've seen more NFL teams going for two earlier in ball games. They're going to try and square it as a 7-point lead right now rather than later.
Move it over on the left hash.
Mitchell in motion as well. They're going to go for Regis and maybe play action, and we will check the marker. Or maybe just delay a game.
Timeout. Louisiana, they're first.
Timeout could be important later. We'll find out. 15-10, Louisiana trying to win for the first time against App. Billy Napier could challenge a timeout usage, he would do it. He's saying, I didn't call timeout. This was on the two-point conversion. His get-back coach trying to help him out there. So he's saying, I didn't call timeout. And then, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But it's a tough situation. You hear somebody call for a timeout, you're going to grant it, right, Matt Austin?
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard to ignore the sideline yelling timeout, timeout, and not know if it's the head coach or not.
Yeah, you can't really know voices. As Lewis on the roll, Levi Lewis has 2, and Louisiana makes it a 7-point lead over App State. This is Louisiana's first lead in the series since 2017. They were up 7-0. Can they hold it? We'll find out. Here on ESPN, don't ever give up. Connor Coker, in 2016, he's a member of the App State staff. He was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia the week App State played at home against Miami. Took a year off from school, came back in fall 2017, joined the equipment staff in spring of 2018. And this January, he rang the bell at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center to announce that he was cancer-free. And it's great to see Connor Coker on the field, the student manager for App State. He's the guy that goes out onto the field to pick up the tee after the kickoffs. And, man, you hear from Connor Coker about Jimmy V being such an inspiration throughout his process. Especially, Connor says, Jimmy V saying, cancer can take away all my physical abilities, but it cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And that's a young man. If you're ever wondering what Jimmy V and V Week can do on ESPN, it can certainly affect a young man like Connor Coker, and we encourage you, if you can, to give now at v.org/donate. V Week here on ESPN. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. And Connor, thank you for sharing your story with us, and we are so happy to see you on the sideline in Boone, North Carolina.
Every single dollar going to cancer research. So
there's a run on first down for App State and Williams, and not a whole lot there. And we would be remiss, by the way, if we didn't mention Dick Vitale and our college basketball team and what Dick has done for so many people in helping the V Foundation grow, and his energy that he pours out onto the court and the field and every gala that he does every year. The guy is just an unending dynamo for this cause. And so to Dick, who I know is a huge sports fan across the board, big Tampa Bay Rays fan, that guy is just a treasure, and what he's done for V Week is truly remarkable. As Zach Thomas escapes the pocket and throws the ball to the sideline, it'll be 3rd down and 8. And I do want to say as well that our producer, Andre, and I've worked with him for 3 years. He's our producer this year. Together, he lost his father to cancer this year. Brian Boyle, our producer, his father passed away just a couple of months ago, and we know how close he was with his dad, and we know how close his family was with Brian. And one of the best guys I've met in this business, Brian Boyle, lost his dad earlier this year. So, you know, cancer's terrible. And whatever you can do to donate, v.org/donate, we hope you can. Third down 8 for App State. And Thomas goes down. Zion Hill, who had the fumble recovery earlier, got in there.
Boy, Hill has been everywhere, and they're getting tremendous push from Taylor Humphrey up front. He is pushing the pocket, and it's freeing up guys, the speed rushers, like Hill and Jones off the edges.
Hey, Louisiana's kind of got this feel right now that they think they can do this tonight. And they're going to have to do it at the 26-yard line on a short return. Hey, tomorrow, noon Eastern time, ABC and the ESPN app, Justin Fields on the road in East Lansing. One of the tougher tests this year for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Noon Eastern time, 9 Pacific. Will it be a 4th straight Big Ten championship game for the Buckeyes? We'll find out together against Michigan State. We thank you for joining us tonight in Boone. A great game so far. Taylor Davis on the sideline, Andre Ware, Jason Benetti, our entire crew leading up to January 1st. College football playoff semifinals, New Year's Day. Please celebrate 2020 going away. We've had enough of it. Day 1 of 2021, you get the semifinals of college football in the Rose Bowl game and the All-State Sugar Bowl. And a first pass from Levi Lewis is incomplete with about 6 to go here in the third quarter.
It's just tough to throw the football. Rain continuously throughout this game, coming down sideways at times, and just finding it hard to keep a dry ball, keep your hands dry where you can deliver an accurate pass. You got to fight through it.
How do you do that, though?
Well, part of it's just, a lot of it's mental, but then I've always felt like it was to your advantage as an offense when the receivers know where to go, when to put their foot in the dirt or the turf, and then make breaks. And so now you have an advantage because the defense is reacting to that under, less than ideal circumstances. So now it's just deliver the football in whatever way possible. Dry ball, dry hands, trying to keep your center's hands dry so he keeps the moisture off the ball and find a way to get it done.
You saw Earl, the defensive tackle for App State. He's got gloves on, he's got long sleeves, he's got the whole shebang. Everybody trying to stay warm in Boone tonight. 3rd down and 4 for Levi Lewis. He will run. Oh, a dodge outside. What an agile move. He froze Taylor.
What a move. And Demetrius Taylor, closing from outside in, is about to just lay one on Levi Lewis, who stops, hits the brakes, redirects his way right into the first down mark.
On a first down run here. Oh, it's Mitchell breaking free. Ball comes loose. Oh my goodness. Jolly forced it, and Louisiana got back on it. Unreal.
That's LeBlanc, the receiver who's trailing the action, is able to come up with a fumble recovery. What a play to punch it out by Sean Jolly, but it's LeBlanc who stays involved in the play and is right there to recover the fumble.
If Louisiana wins this, that 46-yard romp and recovery by LeBlanc could be what changed this series. Lewis play action. Nobody open. Still scanning Lewis to the sideline, and he's got the tight end Meagle inside the 10.
Meagle, that's his 2nd reception on the year. Doesn't catch a lot of them. The first being against UAB earlier this year for a 9-yard touchdown grab. So they don't throw to him much, and certainly in situations like this where the weather is playing a factor, he comes up big in the passing game.
Regis the back on a 2nd and 2. Short side, Regis looks like he got himself the first down. He's very close. Caden Smith took him toward the paint. He's going to be about a yard short. So they will mark him short. It looked like he might have been at the line to gain off the stretch, but Regis is going to be a yard shy.
Playing some pretty good complementary football. The offense now feeding from what the defense is doing. Big sack, and they taking this possession and going right down the field.
You've been saying it all night. Put it in Lewis's hands. Here he goes. Levi Lewis. First down and goal. Cobb again on the stop. Saved the touchdown. but move the markers.
They spread him out. He's a dynamic runner, so you know the first defender has no chance of making a stop. And it's Cobb that gets there, but unable to get him down not until he picks up the first down. And now it's get behind this big offensive line, let him get some push. And they kept Regis the more physical of the three backs in the game. Snap it without. Snap it while they're out of position.
Yeah, they will. Regis driven back. DeMarco Jackson, the leading tackler on this team. Looked like App State might have had 12 men on the field there.
Well, they certainly caught him in a substituting situation where
illegal substitution.
Yeah,
the defense had more than 11 players on the field at the snap. Half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
And it's because Louisiana did not substitute. So I would have snapped it while guys, and obviously Levi Lewis did, get it snapped while guys were still running off the field. But I liked it even earlier when the defensive line was not down and in position. You go ahead and snap it and run the football. And Regis may have walked into the end zone. You know,
the ball was live and set, Andre. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm from the school of don't wait on the defense. I need to dictate to the defense. Let's speed it up.
Play action. Lewis fading back. Levi Lewis turns it upfield, and he's out of bounds. He's going to lose a couple of yards. Cobb is pointing to the sideline and saying that's where he stepped out of bounds, so it's officially a sack there on first and goal.
At the 3-yard line, second down.
Pretty good coverage on the back end, and everybody stays at home even when Lewis starts to approach the line of scrimmage. Clearly out just inside the 3-yard line. But, he's the type of player that when you see him break as a secondary player, your natural instinct is to come up and run support. Well, when you do, and he's not past the line of scrimmage, he kills you throwing the football.
Supposed to redshirt 2017. They decided to pull it in the final month of the year. Lewis to Regis here, and Regis trying to crash in. He is driven back. Regis stood up by Taylor.
Fine
what
job.
A fun rivalry this is, by the way. Third and goal coming up.
Yeah, tough, hard-fought game, and neither team willing to bend or break. A nice defensive stand so far by App State.
What's your call, third and goal?
Well, I'm going to spread him out and put the ball in Lewis's hand. Let him do what he's done basically the entire game. Remember that play where he faked one way and snuck Regis out the other?
They're going to go Regis, touchdown.
He needs is a crease. And they spread him out. You have to respect the formation, the bunch out wide. That takes the defense and just widens it out and allows the offensive line to go to work.
Andre, I go back to the field goal at the end of the half. App State called a timeout with under 30 seconds to go before they kicked their own field goal. It gave Louisiana a chance to kick its own field goal.
Good point.
And since then, including that field goal, it's 17 straight points for Louisiana. Another high snap. Extra point good. 18 straight for Louisiana. Confidence building. Andre, and this is a big save here by LeBlanc.
Big save by LeBlanc. Louisiana able to turn it into points with a Regis touchdown run, putting Louisiana up 24-10.
Playoff, we look forward to that. Louisiana ranked for the first time in the college football playoff top 25 and playing well here in the third quarter against App State, who does not have a yard in the third quarter so far, as App will field this on the return from inside the 15-yard line, and Virgil is dropped there and a flag comes down.
During the return, holding receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That'll hurt. Let's see who's looking good tonight. Brought to you by DXL.
It's been the running game of Louisiana up front, just getting tremendous push. Donnie Lumpkin, the tight end, along with the offensive line, Rubio, Marks, Vallow, Torrance, and Mitchell, kind of owning the second half and opening gaping holes for Mitchell and Regis. They gotta have their way. See that rushing attack for Louisiana has really come to life here in the second half.
App State will run it on first down with Peoples and Humphrey one more time. He has been really big, as Patrick Toney, their defensive coordinator, mentioned he had to be.
Yeah, you ask him that question, who had to have the big game? Because of the inside and outside zone that App State likes to run, he's pointed right to Taylor Humphrey.
Big Sauce doing the job. Regis, couple of touchdowns. Louisiana trying to win for the first time in this series ever. 1 quarter to go. Wet night in Boone, North Carolina. Louisiana with a 15-point shutout in the third quarter to lead 24-10. Trying to win this game that is so big for them. They talked about changing some of the things they do in terms of their way of being as a program to try to win this game and put themselves in better position. They stayed at different hotels, stayed in a different city this time around at App State, and they lead by 14 going into the fourth quarter, with App State rushing on first down, and down to the sideline, Taylor Davis.
Guys, I've been over here on the Louisiana sideline, and there's just so much energy these players are showing, even in spite of the freezing cold rain. And I talked to several of the players this week just about this matchup. This matchup has been the Sun Belt Conference title game for the past 2 years. And as Louisiana has clinched the West Division and will play for the title, I asked their mentality ahead of this game, and they said, regardless, this is the one we want. They are 0-8 against App State. They felt very confident coming into this one tonight that they could really make a mark. They said this feels like the conference championship, and we're going to play like it.
Taylor, thank you. Andre, I'm sure you had like a kid in the neighborhood or in high school or like a team that you played that you just never beat, and you were like, what is it going to take?
Yeah, you just try to, whatever it is, and you learn more in those losses than you do when you win games. So you're apt to change it. The end of this run by Peoples.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, no doubt. But you change things up. Billy Napier told us that different hotel, different ways of going about trying to change the outcome of this game from a lot of different standpoints. So I've always been a firm believer. You learn more when you lose because you change up than you do when you win, but you stay the same.
Unnecessary roughness, offense, number 60. 15-yard penalty, second down.
It's not Noah Hannon who got called for that.
You don't usually see him. He is one of the captains of this team, one of the more respected players on the team. Nasty player in the middle of that offensive line, and he's a leader up front. Just don't see him kind of lose his cool like that. Just at the end of this.
I mean, that's well after the play. Yeah. Like the right call. Matt Austin nodding as well, our rules expert. Hannon has played in 50 games at App State. He started all 50 of his final game in Boone unless he decides to come back next year. And it's second down and 20 for Zach Thomas, his quarterback, who is high for Hennigan. And that's the first time we've called out the name of the very reliable Thomas Hennigan, who's been dealing with a hamstring injury this year.
Well, you're talking about the receivers here. Only 2 passes completed all night long. Hennigan, that one intended for him, but unable to get the ball in the hands of Malik Williams as well, another dynamic playmaker.
Coach has talked about it. Zach Thomas has been without some of his main guys this year at points. Corey Sutton opted out before the season. Hennigan's been hurt, and it's worn on Thomas this year. Third down and 20, trying to get a lot of it and it's Hennigan across the 40 to the 41. Now you're down 2 scores. You going for it, 4th and 4 here?
Well, maybe if I'm across the 50, I would go for it, but I'd be surprised if Sean Clark didn't punt the football here.
Question is, though, do you think you're going to get it back within like 4 minutes with the way Louisiana's running against you?
Good point. Your hard count here trying to draw him off.
Oh, well, they are going to run a play. 4th down and 4. They roll him out against his strong hand, and it's Virgil to the sideline, and Virgil hauled it in. Jalen Virgil got it. The officials are going to talk it over. Let's see. Is it a catch? The answer is yes. Matt Austin, our rules expert, watching here.
Ruling on field is a catch for a first down.
Matt, what do you see?
That view from the ground level looked like there might have been the ball on the ground. It wasn't a great view, but it looks like they got a playoff. So,
Andre, what do you think?
It's hard to tell. Obviously, with the ruling on the field, that's going to be hard to overturn. I thought maybe he got his hands under the football initially. It's moving around, but he secures it before he's contacted with the defender.
The previous play is under review. The review was initiated by the replay booth. Louisiana will not be charged a timeout.
Okay, so they are going to review this and see if that catch holds up. We'll find out with you, and a huge play for App State next. As we went to break, it was a 4th down play being reviewed. The official call on the field was a completion, and the replay booth has let it stand. So it is going to be 1st down, App State. Matt Austin, as you watch this, what do you see?
well, he does get his right arm and hand under the ball, and you just can't tell if the ball ever touches the ground. So from what I see, I don't think it's a catch, but I think it doesn't count when it comes to replay. You have to have visual evidence, and you can't tell for sure that ball hit the ground. So I agree with the stance.
The only look we haven't seen so far, Andre. You see anything different? Well,
it looks like his right hand kind of flips the ball to his forearm, and he's able to kind of pull it in right as he's being contacted by Percy Butler, the safety. So a heck of an effort regardless. Just reward him on the effort.
the old awesome clause. If it's awesome enough, just give him the catch. First down for App State. Time ticking away for the Mountaineers. Zach Thomas, senior quarterback, looking up the field, and he drives his shoulder into Jalen Johnson. Second down. Andre, what's he dealing with when you're down a couple of guys you thought you were going to have? How does that change you as a quarterback?
Well, you just got to build chemistry with what's on the field and as quickly as you possibly can. Hennigan's been a good option for him. So is Malik Williams, but we haven't seen him involved in the passing game. They've got to find a way to get him the football. He's a player that one touch could get to the end zone.
They'll run a jet sweep here and get a couple of yards on the run by Tucker. So it's third down. So Zach Thomas opened this drive 2 for 9. And now 3 for 3 this time around. Third down and 4. Time at some point is going to be a factor for App State. Thomas looking for room to run. He does. Thomas has a first down, tiptoeing the sideline inside the 30.
Does a nice job working the pocket, eyes down the field, and not until he had to take off did he do so. Kind of finds a nice crease in the defense, able to slip out, pick up the first down, and get himself out of bounds.
Zach Thomas, who got the nickname Bam Bam early in his App State career because of his arm strength. Started the Penn State game. They nearly won in double overtime a couple of years ago. And they will run with Peoples on first down to the 25. But again, the clock is an enemy here for App State, Andre.
Yeah, I think, when you're looking at it, 3 timeouts, 10 minutes left in the ball game. You're 2 scores down. That's plenty of time. You got a long way to the finish line. You've got to make sure that you're executing so that you get 1 score, then be able to come back and finish, maybe a defensive stop, turnover, however you get the ball back. And then you worry about taking care of business and rushing or speeding things up, so to speak.
Peoples into the pile, and this is a rugby match at this point. Everybody coming in to crash down, and it's 3rd down at about 3 for App State.
Make sure you're getting first downs, moving the chains, give yourself an opportunity to score. Keep in mind, they need touchdowns. And finish this thing attempting a field goal. They need to find their way into the end zone.
Third down, we're on Peoples. Outside, Peoples down to the goal line, and at the 1, it's 1st and goal.
Boy, just so explosive, and you see it coming out of the film when you turn it on. This is a young man that is just full of explosiveness. He's down just shy of the goal line, but I would not hesitate to turn around and give it right back to Cameron Peoples.
He went full backyard slip and slide at the end of that run through the end zone. They've brought in the defensive lineman, Caleb Sperlin, as the lead back, and this is a touchdown for Peoples.
Out last year with a knee injury. Nice lead block in front of him. They've thrown and given it to Sperlin on a couple of occasions. He's had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown last week. But it's Peoples who gets him in the end zone. Plenty of time left, just being down 1 score.
It's a 14-play touchdown drive for App State. Can they get Louisiana? And here we go again mode. App has never lost to the Cajuns, a 1-score game.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ram, built to serve. 2007,
Michigan, App State, and the Mountaineers on the map, 34-32. Since then, in the FBS level, App State has not beaten a ranked team since climbing from FCS to FBS. Sean Clark's team hoping to do that today against number 25, Louisiana, who's leading 24-17 with 8:17 to go. It was a touchdown on the last drive for App State to make this a 1-score game, and Billy Napier on that Louisiana sideline is hoping that strange things don't continue to happen at Kid Brewer Stadium for his team and for him. They have never beaten App State. 8-0 all time, the Mountaineers against Louisiana. And for Billy Napier, it even happened to him as a player. 2002, his team was up 1. Furman, 7 seconds to go. They went for 2, and this happened.
Pass picked off. Oh, here goes Josh Jeffries. Lateral to Derek Black. Yes. Black's going to go all the way. Woo-hoo. He's going to go. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown ASU. Touchdown Appalachian State. Oh, my goodness.
That will go down in history. That has never happened, I bet. Oh, my gosh. We're going to get penalized here because, folks, our players.
Who cares? That's right.
Who cares?
Hey, Billy Napier says he told the story so many times, but he's never going to forget it. That game they should have won. They were up 1. They went for 2. 2-point conversion goes the other way, and so you wouldn't blame him for wondering what might happen to him tonight. And we were talking to Napier in our coaches meeting, and he said in a game against App State, He ended up with a busted rib that's still pointing the wrong direction inside of him right now.
Yeah, he's telling his football team right now, continue to play. We got a long way to go here in the fourth quarter. Just continue to put first downs together.
Levi Lewis, his senior quarterback, on the give to the sophomore Smith. Gene Charles got in there, and it'll be third down for Louisiana.
This is exactly where John Clark wants to be. Third down with a chance to get off the field. And if you're Louisiana, where you're about third and medium, right where you want to be. So the entire playbook is open. Now it's just about executing the play. Big play in this ball game right here.
With the way Louisiana's run it, if they get a first down here, App State may have to start thinking about timeouts.
And maybe run Lewis here.
On third down, they get to him. Lewis fading back. He lobs it down the sideline, and it will be punt time for Louisiana. And with all the high snaps tonight, we'll see what sort of skullduggery happens here on fourth down.
Great complementary football. The offense goes down, make sure they take care of things on the end of their drive, punching it into the end zone. Peoples kick it off. The defense able to get themselves off the field. And now with a chance to maybe go down and tie it or take the lead in this game.
There you saw it. Two very high snaps. This one does it again! No way! And he boots it out of the end zone. Reese Burns had to kick it the other way, and it's a safety. And Billy Napier continues to see absolutely bizarre stuff happen to his teams in Boone.
This is the third high snap, and a snap if you're counting the extra point where they had to go for
Illegal
two.
kick. Kicking team number 47. That foul occurred in the end zone. It's a safety.
It forced them to chase the points, but they're going to get two here, and now a chance to get the football back offensively and go down the field.
Outrageous, this series. App State has a chance next. They're inching toward that. Justin Fields and the Buckeyes would love nothing more than to be in the Rose Bowl game or the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day, the college football playoff semifinals as we kick off 2021. And for that young man, Paul Boudreaux, who's had a marvelous season, he's been a fantastic snapper. 3 high snaps on punts. This one leads to a safety. And now App State will have outstanding field position as Williams has the return, and Malik Williams, the senior, gets to the 41-yard line. Here are all the strange things, Andre.
Yeah, it started, the initial drive started with a punt over the punter's head. That's not a replay. It happened again, happened on an extra point where it was high, forced them to convert a 2-point play. And then here, again, a third time over the punter's head that resulted in a safety. Been a rough night for Paul Boudreaux.
It's a very lonely moment, and you sincerely hope that he bounces back. 6:31 to go. App State will run it on first down, and wow, Chauncey Manak has been outstanding tonight.
Yeah. He has been everywhere on the field. Had an interception in this ball game. Has gotten to Zach Thomas on a sack, and then there bringing down Williams in the backfield.
Three timeouts for App State. Under 6 to go. It's Williams, the tailback. Williams picking his way to the outside and hemmed in on the edge.
Guess who? Manak. He didn't make the tackle, but he set the edge and forced Williams back inside where it looked like Andre Jones cleans things up. This young man is having some night.
20 tackles for the year coming in. He has been dynamic. It is 3rd and 10. And the question is, as App State goes for it here on 3rd and 10, would they go for it on a 4th down? Well, you might think about punting with all the issues that Louisiana's had so far tonight. If you could get a stop, we'll see. 3rd down. Thomas on the slant. He has Hennigan and a 1st down. The ultra-reliable senior shows late.
And just a simple slant route. Timed very well. 3rd step. Able to get Hennigan in front of Garner, the corner, who is their best cover man. And Hennigan's able to come out, obviously, with a win in that situation.
Talk about how great he is in traffic. He's 4th all-time in App State history in receiving yards. And this run for Peoples will be thrown back by Zion Hill and Humphrey.
I almost believe App State, they're going to have to do something different on the earlier downs, because Louisiana is playing, they're selling out in run defense on 1st and 2nd down.
Peoples again, 3rd down and short. Dillon on the stop that time. And the clock stops with 3rd down coming up.
Hard to imagine if Peoples was healthy last year with Darrington
The defense
Evans.
had more than 11 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
So they'll take the penalty on the 12 men and the illegal substitution. So it'll be 2nd down for App. You're right, Andre. Darrington Evans, etc. They're a loaded backfield last bunch of years.
Yes, indeed. Evans was excellent last year. Peoples was out with a knee injury and ACL. He comes back. He's healthy. Pairing him with Williams, and then Noel, the true freshman, some backfield.
Doesn't hurt, too, that coming into this game, they had 159 career starts on their offensive line.
A lot of experience up front, and that's who they're going to lean on as we get down the stretch here, trying to clear some room for Peoples to run.
Thomas on the roll, lobbed it in there. Williams on a 1st down to the 25.
Finally getting the football in his hands. Big time weapon on a crossing route. They love running him on routes like that, shallow crosses, and he is dynamic once it's in his hands.
Little rhythm here now on the offense, and it's dropped by Hennigan, incomplete. Hey, after our game, Sports Center, BYU Coastal Carolina. Game day will be there in lovely Conway on the Grand Strand in South Carolina. College football's prime playoff crasher, who might it be? Could it be BYU with a 47% chance if they beat Coastal Carolina, according to FPI and the playoff predictor? And then under pressure, Goff and Murray on Sports Center after this dandy of a ball game, with App State trying to go in to win at the last moment. But Chauncey Manak again detonated a play.
I know that I'd run to his side a whole lot going forward. He is just owning the line of scrimmage and just playing lights out. Now it's going to force, now you are in 4-down territory. 2:56 to play across the 50. Trying to get about half of it here if you're Zach Thomas.
He will run. Zach Thomas got a block on the edge from Peoples in what could be his final home game at App State. Zach Thomas, still a decision to make about his future, but this could be his final time at Kidd Brewer Stadium, and he's got a 4th down ahead of him here. What's your play call?
You got to find one of these receivers. Hennigan, Williams. We're able to connect with Hennigan on a simple slant route to pick up the 1st down when it was 3rd and long earlier. Revisit that.
4th down and 9 for Thomas. Pocket collapses and down he goes. It's Manak one more time. He has been absolutely maniacal this evening. Now the game's not over. App has 3 timeouts, and if they force a punt, who knows what will be unleashed. But for now, Louisiana's a couple first downs away from their first ever win against App State. Chauncey Manac one more time got in there. But a stop there on the last App State drive. 3 bad punt snaps, 1 bad snap on a kick as well. So Louisiana will have the ball. App State 3 timeouts. 24-19. Couple of first downs will do it. And that's not going to do much for them. It's a gain of 1 on the run on first down. So App State will use its first timeout. 2:04 to go in the fourth. Our College Football Awards Spotlight brought to you by the Home Depot. It features Zach Wilson at BYU. He's on the Maxwell watch list. Davey O'Brien, class of 2020. Andre, you know something about that award. 74%, 26 touchdowns. The Home Depot College Football Awards Show, January 7th, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Wilson against Coastal Carolina is going to be outstanding tomorrow on ESPNU, early evening, late afternoon, depending on where you are. And BYU actually has about 50-50 chance of making the playoff with a win tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I love the matchup. I love that they were able to get it scheduled. 2 teams that are obviously in a big-time conversation as the year progresses. And for them to play this late in the year, I think it's going to be a treat for college football fans. I will definitely be tuned into that one. Zach Wilson, you know my feelings on him. I think he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country, right behind Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Love what he brings to the field, his competitiveness. He's the real deal.
Second down, Levi Lewis trying to tunnel through his line, attempting to drive him to the first down marker, and he's knocked down at about the 35. So it's a gain of 7, and it's 3rd down and 2, and 1 more timeout for App State.
And you can ill afford to give up a first down here because it essentially eliminates all your chances of getting back in this game. So they've got to find a way to stop Louisiana here. And in these situations throughout the night, it's been Regas, the big back, that's been converting for Louisiana throughout the evening.
This is the game that Louisiana wanted all year long. Yeah, they're going to the Sun Belt Championship game, but they've never beaten App State. And the last 2 times they've played for the crown in this league, App State has beaten them by 7 last year, by 11 2 years ago. And it's 1 play for 3rd down and 2. And in fact, it might be 2 plays, Andre, because if they get a no gain on 3rd and 2, would you punt or would you go for it?
That's a great question with all that we've witnessed tonight in terms of just trying to snap the ball to the punter. You would think, punt the football away, but it has not been that easy.
Mitchell, the tailback, the senior. Lewis, the quarterback, rolls it to the left. Lewis chased, and he whips it out of bounds. Pressure from Hampton coming in, and now that decision for Billy Napier, disciple of Nick Saban, former Clemson assistant as well. On a 4th and 2, what do you do?
Well, with that play call, I would imagine they're punting it away, because otherwise, if you were thinking about leaving the offense on the field, you just turn around and give it to Regas or Mitchell. But stopping the clock with a throwaway, so that leaves App State with another timeout, or their final timeout.
If you missed it, here is the snap malpractice so far tonight in wet weather.
2 in the first half. You get the high snap on an extra point, and then later in the game, 1 over the punter's head again, a 3rd one for a safety. It's got us to where we are right now.
Now Boudreaux is talking to his punter, Reese Burns. 3 snaps over the punter's head tonight for Louisiana and Boudreaux, who again, Billy Napier called out individually in our conference with him yesterday and said he has been outstanding this year. So Boudreaux remains on the sideline, 4th down and 2, and we'll see what the decision is. They're going to go for it.
Maybe you're trying to draw App State offsides to pick up the 1st down here.
Now they're holding the snap, play clock down to 7. And Levi Lewis wants a reset of the play clock. He's got to hurry this thing up. And now Lewis going to run back and take a safety. He's going to go ahead and take the safety. It's an interesting call. They're going to go ahead and take the 2 points allowed here and then kick it to App State. So it's 24-21. App with a field goal could tie this game. Look, you got a chance to go for it and end the ball game. Instead, you hand the ball to App State in a 3-point score. Andre, your thoughts?
I'm miffed with it because now it turns into, just a field goal sent you into overtime. And with the way App State's gone here in the second half, the last couple of possessions, it's doable. So you almost made it easier with a timeout for App State to go down and extend this ball game.
Let me ask you this, though.
If you're going to do that, go ahead and go for it on 3rd down. Run Regas, run Mitchell on 3rd down, come back and run them again on 4th down. Just pound away and try to – you would have less head scratching by doing it that way than taking the safety that ran very little time off the clock.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. If you're going to do that, why not? It seems like those are 2 separate columns he chose from on those last 2 plays. They throw it, and then they take the safety, and now in a 3-point game, 1:46 to go, and a senior quarterback who is 30-5 as a starter with the 2nd most wins active at the FBS level, App State will see it and prospectively in really good field position.
And you're kicking off here from your 20-yard line and with a dangerous return man and Malik Williams back deep.
From the 20, it is Williams. This is outstanding field position. 1 timeout, ball at the 45. So really you gain about 30 yards for not going for it on 4th and 2. And you now are in a circumstance where a field goal could send you to a longer game.
Well, it's questionable. I mean, you just scratch your head thinking about that last scenario. And if you believe in your football team, you just, an experienced offensive line, give it to Reagan, give it to Mitchell. But
that's not what they did.
Guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Buckle up.
Here we go. Zach Thomas over the middle. He's got Hennigan. And a 1st down into Louisiana territory to the 43. It's a gain of 12 for Zach Thomas to Hennigan, his classmate.
He's had a rough night and has come to life a little bit here in the second half. This is where your bread is buttered.
Peoples on the run. Gardner on the tackle. 2nd down after a gain of 3.
Kind of earn your stripes in situations like this as a quarterback. You live for them. You want the pressure of the situation so that you can deliver and you earn respect.
That's a bullet. Got Hennigan one more time. He is stood up, and it's 3rd down. Under a minute to go. App 1 timeout. They have never lost to Louisiana.
Have not had the problems, the snapping problems that Louisiana has had throughout this ball game. So you would imagine they're going to at least get the snap, the hold, and the kick off.
Ball came out, Andre, but they're going to say progress was stopped for Peoples there, so no fumble.
I'd like to see them work a little bit faster as this clock ticks down.
30 seconds to go. Thomas the throw to the sideline. It's Malik Williams, and maybe they'll use that timeout here. They have 1 left. Chandler Staten's long this year is 45, and so they're right around that range right now.
Well, the thing that Louisiana is doing is forcing the ball out quickly. And so the routes have very little time to develop down the field. It's a catch and having to break a tackle, but Louisiana's doing a nice job on the back end of securing tackles where there's very little gains that are taking place. It's a big timeout. You get a first down, it's going to stop until the officials are set. We're going to have to speed some things up here with just 25 seconds left. A lot of time run off this clock on this drive.
Down to 25 seconds for App State and Sean Clark, who played at App with longtime coach Jerry Moore. He's taken over as the head coach after Eli Drinkwitz left last year, and App State has never lost to Louisiana. These are the two teams in the Sun Belt that have been to the conference championship game. It'll be Coastal and Louisiana this year. But this game is the one that Louisiana, in its heart, feels the need to grab to get over a hill, whether it's mental or real. It's there. 2nd down and 6 for Zach Thomas, the senior quarterback. Staring down the pressure, he flips it to the sideline, incomplete, and it's 3rd down.
Just really close by Trahan on the back end. If they kick the field goal here, it's about 45 yards or so.
Remember, they have no timeouts, so if Thomas takes a sack, it's going to be a mad scramble to get the field goal team on and even have a chance.
He absolutely cannot take a sack.
3rd down. Thomas down the field to the edge. And incomplete. There's a marker down, and we will see if it's pass interference. Jalen Virgil the target, Mekhi Garner on the coverage. Let's see. It is interference against Louisiana.
15 yards tacked onto it. He's got there a little bit early and bumped the receiver. It's Garner, their best cover man. Back in coverage, it's going to draw the flag. No, it's basically about position now, where you want to kick the field goal from.
Or do you take one shot in the end zone here with 14 seconds?
It's exactly right. You go into the end zone here.
Thomas, end zone for App, incomplete. Hennigan wanted a flag against Guerrer and didn't get it. 4 seconds off.
And you're working with a senior quarterback in Zach Thomas. Throw it where only your receiver can make a play or it goes out of bounds. Do not leave the ball in the field of play where it could be intercepted here.
We told you bizarre things have happened to Billy Napier in Boone, North Carolina. His team has never beaten App State. 2nd down and 10. Louisiana looking for that first win of the series. Thomas to throw. Down the sideline. At the edge and incomplete. Oh, Virgil trying to skate in the back of the end zone, and it's 3rd down with 5 seconds, and you probably have to kick it here.
You're just holding your breath. But right now, 5 seconds, absolutely. Got to go ahead, bring the kicker out, try to tie this thing up and send it to overtime.
The all-time leading scorer in Sun Belt history, and a timeout coming from the Ragin' Cajuns. Staten missed earlier from 37. This one from 30. This is earlier from 37.
Mechanics of the snap behind the holder a little bit, and that threw the timing of everything off. It's been a wet, sloppy game all game long for both teams, and it just seems like App's been able to kind of handle the conditions in these situations, the snaps both in punting and field goals, with the one exception that we just witnessed.
He was perfect as a high school junior, just after playing 8-man football early in his high school career. Came to App State and became the primary kicker in his redshirt freshman season. "30 yards for the tie for App State." Johnstone to snap, Howell to hold. Staten for the tie. No good! Louisiana will escape. App for the first time.
It looked like it even had a chance, like it came out low and obviously pulled it left. With a second left, this one's over. That was fine. Yeah, he just pulled it.
An anxious night for both special teams coaches, but for Louisiana in the rain in Boone, North Carolina, in the wilderness and the beauty of Boone. Louisiana on the road, a team that beat Iowa State, who's in the top 10 in the college football playoff rankings, will go to 9-1, and we will see them in the Sun Belt title game against Coastal Carolina, who's taking on BYU tomorrow in one of the big games in college football. There's the knee. The Ragin' Cajuns, for the first time ever, take down App 24-21. Andre, what a game.
What, it was hard fought till the final second of this one, and anybody's ball game until that missed field goal. We knew it would be highly contested, and we got every bit of what we expected.
A rivalry that gleams again. We'll hear from Billy Napier when we come back. For now, for Taylor and Andre, I'm Jason. We'll go to SportsCenter and come back here. Neil Everett, Linda Cohn, take it away.